This is Julius Karnwie of Karnwie Books, the company that wants you to read. This is part 1 of the session on the different stages to reading. To read is to use the eyes and mind to understand written or printed material such as the contents of a book. The practice of reading involves mental effort and can be difficult and at times tedious. In order to understand and absorb what one is reading, one must at times exert great mental effort. Anyone can read, but a good reader is one who can absorb and retain the essence, which is the information or the knowledge contained in the material that he is reading or has read. It is better not to read at all than not to understand what one is reading. Although reading can be a difficult and mentally exhausting process, here are a few steps or stages to reading which, when observed, could make reading fun and easy. The visual foreplay stage of reading, which I also call falling in love with reading material. This stage does not involve serious reading or mental effort, but rather the use of visual effort or sight to acquaint oneself with the material that one would like to read. This stage can end with the acceptance or rejection of the material to be read. For Braille readers, this will involve the use of touch to determine the type of material and to accept or reject it based on the reader's tastes and needs. There are 3 stages or steps to the visual foreplay stage of reading, and they are the browsing stage, the grabbing stage, and the picking out stage. The browsing stage. This stage involves the use of sight or touch for Braille readers to find the material that one might be interested in reading. This stage is stimulated by the physical and artistic beauty of the material to be read. For example, a beautiful book cover, a beautiful font style, etc., might attract the attention of a potential reader better than a not so attractive book cover or font style. This stage can also be driven by the title of a book or reading material, the author of the work, and every other attribute that might make the material physically and intellectually attractive. At this stage, the reader is glancing or browsing through different books or titles at a bookstore or a library to find the material that will best suit his tastes and needs. Next, the grabbing stage. This stage is where the reader makes physical contact with and actually reads part of the material to be read. Here, the reader is focusing not only on the physical or artistic beauty, but also on the contents of the material to be read. This stage involves flipping through several pages of reading material, such as the table of contents of a book, the illustrations in a book, the index section of a book, etc. Here also the focus is on the intellectual beauty of the material to be read. At this stage, the reader flips through several pages of different books or reading materials to validate and confirm that his choice is the best one. Next, the picking out stage. This is the final stage of the visual foreplay stage of reading, and it involves selecting and taking out the material that one has finally decided to read. This stage concludes with paying for a book or other reading material at a bookstore and taking it home to read, or checking out a book or other reading material from a public or private library and taking it home to read. For a home library, this stage can conclude with selecting and pulling out a book off the library shelf and taking it to a table to read. And this brings to an end the first part on the session on the different stages to reading. And I am Julius Karnwie of Karnwie Books, the company that wants you to read. Cheers.